In the last class, we have discussed about the DNA as a genetic material, and we have seen the structure of the DNA and how the two strands of polynucleotides are held by a hydrogen bond. In the today's lecture, we are going to see how it was discovered that the DNA is acting as a genetic material. Then we are going to discuss something on the topic called transformation experiment given by Griffith. Then we will see replication process in which the entire genetic material is copied and sent to the newly formed cell. So before we will see the search for the DNA as a genetic material. So till now we have seen that Mendel has performed a series of experiments and he has given law of inheritance in year 1865, which includes so many things like law of dominance, law of purity of gamete, then law of independent assortment, then law of law of segregation. Apart from that, at that time it was not experimentally proven that DNA is acting as a genetic material. So it takes long time to prove that the thing which was Mendel was saying as a factor, it was a DNA. So although it was known for a long time that chromosomes carries the genetic information, and it was still not clear whether the DNA or the protein present in the DNA is working as a genetic material. So the concept of DNA being the genetic material is not the protein was confirmed later by some experiment, and in this experiment we are going to see what Frederick Griffith had done. So there is a scientist called Griffith. Griffith's experiment, and he has done this experiment in year 1928, and his experiment name was bacterial transformation. Also called transformation experiment. So your Frederick Griffith, he was an British bacteriologist, and he has conducted a series of experiments, and he has chosen bacteria to conduct his experiment, and the name of the bacteria was is Diplococcus pneumonia. It is a bacteria which causes disease. It is a pathogenic. It is a pathogenic bacteria, and it's caused pneumonia in an organism. Pneumonia. So actually, he has done. He has grown a bacterial culture of this organisms. So let us see what he has done in his entire experiment. So he has grown a culture culture of this bacteria in a petri dish. Petri dish is like a circular thing where we put media inside. Media is is a chemical substance which contains all the necessary metabolites which is required during the metabolism, and it also contains growth factors and some glucose, amino acids and all that, and these all the newly grown bacteria will feed on the media and they will grow their colonies. So he has grown the culture of the bacteria and he found two species. Two species of this bacteria. One bacteria is having smooth colony, also called S type, and another colony was rough colony, also called R type. And why it is S? Because the bacteria which are present in a smooth colony, they are synthesizing a polysaccharide which is acting as a capsule, and it makes the outer surface smooth, and that polysaccharide is called mucilaginous sheath. So these cells are producing a polysaccharide which is called mucilaginous sheath, and this polysaccharide is acting as a capsule and it surrounds the cell and make the cell smooth surface. Now, and this R type colonies, they are not synthesizing any polysaccharide, so these R colony bacteria are not synthesizing any polysaccharide, so they have a rough surface. Okay, so the entire generation which is produced from smooth colonies, they are called as a S-type organism, S-type species, and these are your R-type species. Okay, now actually this S-type is the virulent in nature. Means they are pathogenic, whereas these R type are non-pathogenic, non-virulent. Non-pathogenic in nature, and these R type pneumonia bacteria is your non-virulent, not causing any disease. Clear? Now, so now he has generated the two colonies, and now he is going to work on mice just to check after injecting these OR colonies to the mice, what is going to be happen? So first, what he has done, when S type, which was a virulent, is injected in mice, then the mice died due to pneumonia disease. Okay, that is a very easy step in which he has injected S type into the mice and mice died. Secondly, what he has done, he has heated S type and then injected to mice. He find that it was harmless. So it was harmless. That means mice was surviving. Mice survived. In the next experiment, what he has done, he has mixed two things. So he has mixed first heated S type, and he has put their living R type. Okay, and this mixture is injected to mice, and mice died due to pneumonia. Okay, so till now he has concluded that when he has taken S type, that was the virulent type, and when it was injected to mice, he found that mice is died with the pneumonia disease. Secondly, he has heated the S type and again injected to the mice. He found that mice were surviving. So later on, in the next step, he has mixed the heated S type and the living R type bacteria and make a mixture and inject it to mice. He found that mice died. So later on, he has taken the blood sample from the mice which was died. So he has taken the blood sample and then he has checked that there was a living S type. So this transformation, that is transformation of R type into S type, was shock for him, and he was not able to justify that how this conversion occur and what are the parameters help in conversion of R type to the S type. So later on, this transformation experiment was stopped by him. So he was not able to identify, and even his experiment was stopped for around 10 years. And the problem was that Frederick was not knowing the chemical nature of the transforming agent, and Crift uses the heat inactive S cells, and he got that S type, all R type becomes S type of, they are showing the S type of character, and even they have developed the protein, I mean polysaccharide layer also outside. So this conformation, this transformation agent was not clear. So later on this experiment was stopped by him, and as the time passes he died. So again this experiment was again restarted. So this experiment was again restarted in year called 1938, and around 1938 by three eminent scientists. First is Oswald Avery. Second scientist was McCarthy. And third scientist was McLeod. So they all have done a series of experiment again after Griffith, and they have announces that transformation agent was DNA. So we will see how they have concluded about this experiment, and how they have come to know that transforming agent was DNA. So transformation agent is the DNA. So we have to check this. So let us see what they have done during the experiment. So first of all, they have taken a S cell, okay, and they have heated it, okay, and they have collected the DNA from them. So due to heating, DNA get denatured. So during denatured it will broken into segment. So DNA becomes in fragments. So these are the fragment of DNA which is taken from the S cell after heating. So first they have taken this fragment of DNA from the S cell. Second thing what they have done, they have again make a mixture. In the mixture they have taken R type, that is a living R type, and they have taken the segment of DNA. Segment of DNA of S type. So this entire thing was again heated, okay, and they have found that inside the cell, if suppose this is the DNA of R type, and in between the S type was incorporated. So they have done replication, and they have generated so many DNA sample containing R type, containing S type virulent DNA also inside. So suppose this is the circular DNA, and again you will find here that segment of some of the segment are of R type. So this is your S type DNA and this is your R type DNA. So this was the transformation. So this was the transformation. So when living R type was kept, when the segment of DNA of S type is inserted in the living type, they found that the S type DNA also get incorporated into the genome of R type. So which was a transformation done by the bacteria. So later on what they have done, which is a very unique in a way, they have taken this S type cell and they have extracted protein, then they have extracted polysaccharide, then they have extracted lipids, they have extracted DNA, they have extracted RNA and all that. Okay, again this protein is injected to R type. So it was, mice was surviving. When polysaccharide was injected, mice was surviving. When lipid was injected, mice was surviving. When DNA was injected, mice was not surviving, he died. When RNA was injected, mice was surviving. So later on, he has taken DNA and it has put it the DNase enzyme and then it is injected to mice. He found that mice was living. Because DNase enzyme is the digestive enzyme which has degraded the DNA molecule. So now DNA is no more present in the cell and they are not going to create any virulence nature. So this confirms that the transformation agent was the DNA, not the protein associated with the chromosomes or the histone protein and other part. So this entire thing is clearing us that not the other biomolecules are responsible for this transformation. Only the DNA was the main transforming agent. So later on this experiment was proven by every McLeod and McCarthy, and it was justified that the transformation agent is DNA. Thank you.